I was actually just informed by my smart telephone that another Sleepy video has hit the towers. For those of you who don't know, I am a fan of Sleepy. He's a commentary YouTuber who he talks about content creators. He just posted, did I even see this one? The Hassan one content, oh yeah, the content youth. I did watch that one. But this video just came out and like, I'm like, well, I'm live, so I might as well react to this on stream. So I'm going to react to this video here. This is Dr. Disrespect, Reddit is disgusting by Sleepy.
So a couple of days ago, I covered the Dr. Disrespect situation, and I have to say, the community response on Dr. Disrespect's Reddit has been insane. I understand that any big community is gonna have outliers that will support their goat no matter what. All right, I mean, just take a look at Destiny.
True.
Sex Pestiny has still got 10k concurrent viewers every time he goes live. If somebody who literally has a court case for nudes and sex tapes that they shared around without consent, if they can still have an audience, I guess it's no surprise that a pedophile could get that too. The dog basically lost his mind at his old friends for not associating with him, and this is one of the clips that Nick Merckx posted to respond to him losing his mind.
The Gamers Update I know has the clip from it, right? This is for context. I'm sure you guys might be a little confused if you haven't seen this, but this is the crash out that Dr. Disrespect had.
I'm just in like a bad mood, but at the same time, it's just like I have to say the obvious. I do. Like, who does that? You know what I mean, champs? These people have met, like those two people met Mrs. Assassin and Baby Assassin, Little Assassin, right? They met him multiple times. So for Nick to go on some fucking low budget podcast and talk about us the way he did, like, who does that? Like, pause the music. Pause the.
To be honest, it actually just sounded like he was jealous that he didn't get invited to go on the podcast. He was mad that they had opportunities to go on the podcast, and when they're on the podcast, they didn't support him. And it's like, of course, this dude's got cut off from a lot of career opportunities because of what he did, right? You can't just sex minors and then just like not have any repercussions for that. So yeah, I'm getting the idea that that is what's going on here.
Like, pause the music. Pause. I just gotta say it. Like, who does that? You fucking phony pussy. And then Lupo screaming.
Should I mute the mic while I'm chewing? Maybe I should.
Screaming at the top of his lungs. He's got 400 viewers now. No one gives up. Like, he's always copied us. Transitions, intros, all that stuff. He's always has. Like, I just gotta go and I'm just gonna release some stuff off my mind just because I'm in the because I got so many technical fucking options.
Dude is just salty that these people who are better streamers than him, by the way, better streamers than him, probably, or better streamers, they're more popular at least, are doing similar things that he's doing and are having more success than him. I think this is mostly jealousy rather than anything else. And when you get upset about things like this, you often say things you don't really mean. I'm sure that he's actually upset that they don't support him. But to be honest, you know, Dr. Disrespect, if he was getting invited to podcasts, you probably wouldn't see this outburst. You probably wouldn't. This is just a sad, jealous man.
Issues and audio issues and everything's always there's always technical issues happening on the stream, huh? Right? It gets me all fired up. So then it makes me want to really speak my mind. We get it.
Well, if Dr. Lupo isn't dealing with these streamer issues, if Tim the Tapman isn't dealing with these audio issues, then I feel like Dr. Disrespect, that's on you. That's on you. And maybe that goes more to what Nick Merckx was saying, like, take responsibility. He could even take responsibility for his audio issues. Instead of getting all mad that other people aren't having audio issues, that they have cool transitions similar to what Dr. Disrespect has, and that they're being able to be on podcasts. Like, bro, too bad, right? You know? I mean, he didn't make his bed, but he texted about it. So this is the result of what you've done.
Get it, Doc. Calm down. All right. You sure? I was about to just go off. I was really about to go off on these fucking idiots. Disrespecting me. Disrespecting my Mrs. Assassin, Little Assassin. Come on, man. That's how you get knocked the fuck out.
Okay, that I understand, because it's like his wife his child, they don't have any involvement with him messaging someone who was underage, right? Like, what do you think his kid told him to do that? No. Do you think his wife told him to do that? No. That's something that is just his problem. So if you're gonna go after his family for that, then yeah, I get being a little bit mad about that. That's fair.
This guy thinks he's is Nick Merckx, dude. I don't even know what happened to him. I don't know if he's still around. He thinks he's like,
bro, I didn't even know if you were still around. What are you talking about? My guy. Actually, no, I shouldn't say my guy. We do not claim him. I do not claim him.
Tough guy putting his who can I knock out in a fight list together? Like first off, who does that shit, man?
Your entire persona is literally built around being a fake tough guy. As a matter of fact, you are actually more overtly fake about it, right? Look at this goofy dude, right? Full tactical gear, fake wig, pit vipers, maybe a fake mustache. I don't know. Like, come on, bro. Come on. You're going to come at people for having a tough guy persona? Really? Seriously? That's like, I don't know, WWE wrestlers going out and complaining about toxic masculinity. Like, come on, bro.
Second off, this guy wouldn't even come close. No way. Anyways, I just don't know who, like, the type of mentality to go on and talk about someone like that. Like, you just gotta be, you're lost. You don't do that.
I don't want to be that guy, but isn't like you're crazy the typical like narcissist response? Isn't it? He doesn't even give an answer, right? Or a reason why what they're doing is wrong. It's just like, you've met my wife and kids. You should know better than that. You guys must be crazy. Like, it doesn't track. This is just a rant. There's no logic. There's no argument. This is just a rant.
Time out.
Yeah, this is pretty dumb. I don't think we need to play this for more context. I think we're good. Let's go back to Sleepy. So with that context, we'll run it back to Nick Merckx's response to this.
You can't reflect. You can't hold yourself accountable. You can't be a man. Being a man is about holding yourself accountable with things you do. It's a really important part about growing up and being a fucking man.
I like how he's talking about /to Dr. Disrespect as if he's a child, because he kind of is acting like a child here, even though you're mad about people going after your wife and kid. That's fair, but in general, he's mad at the opportunities the other guys are getting. He's mad that the streams are working smoother than his. It's like, these are all childish things to complain about in public, right? In public.
You're a father, you're a husband. Look, you fucked up. You gotta own it. You gotta be a fucking man. You fucked up. You don't get to go around and blame everybody else for the shit that you did.
And that's just simply the reality. Nick Merckx is not the one that was texting an underage minor. You were. Nick Merckx is not the one that tweeted that he had inappropriate conversations with a minor. But of course.
And also, didn't Nick Merckx literally do a video where it's like the line to me is like messaging minors, like that's unacceptable? How are you going to get mad at Nick Merckx for saying something like that? It's a reasonable thing for a human being to say.
Of course, Dr. Disrespect crashed the fuck out, as we all know, and here's what his audience had to say about it. So this is the top post on the Reddit this week. 4 days ago, Doc called it. Nick Merckx is the biggest fucking pussy in the world, ... Lupo, obviously, he's a fake. Dr. Disrespect called out the two streamers, labeling them as rats for how they treated him amid his controversy. And again, when we say controversy, what we mean to say is when he admitted that he sexted a minor, that he had inappropriate conversations with a minor. So now let's see what the fans of a pedophile have to say.
Well, to be fair, I think what Dr. Disrespect admitted to was jokes. He said, "Oh, it was just jokes. It's fine. It was just jokes. They were inappropriate, but they were jokes, so it's fine." No, it's not fine. It's not like we have a straight answer on exactly what was said, because those messages haven't been leaked. At the very least, we do know that they were of an inappropriate nature, because that's what Dr. Disrespect said. So knowing whether or not they were actually planning to do anything, whatever, but it's still bad, right? I'm not making any excuses for him. I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear about what the record has stated so far.
say. Nick is the perfect example of a guy that can't get past a high school mentality. You see it in a lot of streamers that never actually worked a day in their lives. They're just petulant children. Need I remind you, if anyone is stuck in their high school days, it's probably the guy that is texting people old enough to be in high school.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. It's a good point because a lot of it's about like maturity level, right? If you're immature, you're probably gonna want to be with people who are immature. It's just facts.
It is a fucking joke. I don't know how there's no fucking, self-respect, any amount of dignity to not even fucking mention. What the you're talking about kid mentality. Tell your mans, tell your homie, tell your fucking champ, all right, to stop talking to children. How about that? If there's anything about the subreddit that I find extremely funny, it's that they are all fans of Dr. Disrespect. Even removing the allegations, let's just be real about it. Dr. Disrespect is a pretty obnoxious character. If you're a fan of Dr. Disrespect, you like obnoxious, annoying people. That's
maybe that's just me. Like I like some of like the loud, brash content creators on the internet. That's one thing I liked about Destiny when I was still watching him. I kind of liked the goofy antics of Ninja, right, when he was still like the edgy dude in his parents' basement. That was really cool. I like that because I don't know. I think there's a lot of people don't go there to being like loud and boisterous and semi pseudo edgy. And I think that if you can do that and still be funny, hey, I'll take that. I think that's fun to watch. I think Dr. Disrespect lays it on a little thick, though. I think that's why I never was a fan of him back in high school. But I don't know. I think that there's something goofy and relatively inoffensive about the way that he carries himself to where I could absolutely understand why you would be a fan of him. I just feel if it comes off as a little fake in like in a WWE way where it's like they're not even trying to hide that it's just not real anymore, right? You're wearing an obviously fake wig. The wig is bad, bro. Like, we're not necessarily buying that this is actually how you behave and this is your real persona. But still, I wouldn't really hate on people who enjoy the type of stuff, right? I don't hate on WWE fans, so.
In my opinion, that's just what it is. And so the idea that these people are talking about tuned in for 10 minutes and he was talking about almost going to SEAL training and I immediately tuned out. Quote unquote, I'll punch a drill sergeant mentality is nauseating. Pretty sure.
Right? And the reason why that doesn't work is because the persona is so obviously fake. If you're goofing off and being like, oh, I'm a champ, right? I'm a two-time, right? And you guys are my champs too. Yeah, man. Look at me and my pit vipers. Like, that's different than being like, I'm almost going to be a SEAL, like a SEAL Team 6 member. Like, that's on an absolutely different level, right?
Nick was never some tough guy in his younger years, lol. He was a nerd pro gamer that started working out and became a douche. Like, dude, they're talking about this guy and like he's got such a nauseating personality. Bro. You like Dr. Disrespect, bro. What do I need to say? Motherfucker wears an outfit, a red outfit and sunglasses on stream because motherfucker hates being himself. How about that? The only funny thing in this subreddit is
good point.
This guy, Doc's still going after high schoolers too, though. Nobody liked that one. This subreddit is unironically mad at Nick Merckx for talking about Dr. Disrespect being a pedophile in a pretty respectful way, might I add.
That's crazy.
Dr.
Yeah,
Disrespect.
I mean, I will say, every time that Nick Merckx has spoken about Dr. Disrespect, it's been very, very soft language. He's been condemning Dr. Disrespect about as gently as you reasonably could, right? He's never said he's a horrible person or whatever. Even in the clip before that I played, that Sleepy played, he said, oh, he made a mistake. You gotta own up to your mistakes. Mistakes? Bro, that's not a mistake. That's a life path that led you down that road. Like, come on, man. It's a little bit more than just making a mistake to message a minor in that way.
Is the problem,
especially if you know that person's a minor. Like, if you don't know, that's different. But I think my understanding is that he knew the person was a minor.
A pedophile. In a pretty respectful way, might I add. Dr. Disrespect is the problem here. Maybe Dr. Disrespect shouldn't have done what he did. Nick Merckx wouldn't be talking about it. This is a pretty good one here. Z and Tim's stance were basically, if the allegations are true, that's messed up. That's not even a controversial or being a bad friend. They're just reacting. And somebody below says, imagine one of your best friends is in legal trouble, and instead of checking up on them to verify it's actually true, they instead just cut contact with you and assumed you were guilty. That's such a heartbreaking thing. Bro, he admitted to doing it. Nah.
This. And also, I've been in a relatively similar position, right? If you guys remember the whole Cedarville stabbing situation, right? Where some dude was harassing women on campus. I'll say allegedly because we don't know this for sure. I've heard multiple secondhand testimony that I from people that I trust, right? So I believe it, but it is my opinion, right? That this guy was running around harassing people, but I literally had like basically cut ties with him years before when I was still in college because he was like talking weird about women and stuff, and the way that he was talking about women, it seemed to me like it was very like objectifying, and I was like, man, this is whack. And then he would ask me for relationship advice, and I would say like, treat women like people, and he wouldn't follow my advice, and he'd come back for more advice. I'm like, bro, stop it. So I cut him off as a friend. And then, of course, after he was harassing enough women, one of them got mad at him and stabbed him. And then he was messaging people, I think, in like a Discord for like people in our hall, because we were in the same hall together in college. And I think he ended up reaching out to me, and he was like, "Bro, you want to come and support me for my court day?" I'm like, "Nah, bro. I don't even know if I responded. I just like blocked him or unfriended him or just ignored him or something." Like, just because you're friends with someone or you were friends with someone doesn't mean that you have to help them whenever they're in legal trouble, or you have to support them if they ever get into some sort of sticky situation. Like, bruh, if someone does something bad, why would you be obligated to help them out with their legal trouble? Or I don't know. I feel like the idea, the whole claim of you guys used to be friends just isn't really cutting it for me, as someone who has been through something like that before.
They instead just cut contact with you and assumed you were guilty. That's such a heartbreaking thing. Bro, he admitted to doing it. Nah, bro, he deleted the tweet, remember? I don't know if he's being fucking sarcastic, but like, he publicly admitted. And by the way, these guys aren't best friends. They're fully grown men. They're fully grown men with families. They are not best friends. Get this parasocial idea out of your fucking brain. They are not friends. They are not best friends. They are business partners who are maybe homies outside. They send each other a couple of texts and go for a...
Did they even collab? I honestly don't follow these people very closely. Nick Merckx is the one I followed the most, and I barely even follow him. I thought Tim the Tatman was kind of cool, but I never really took the time out to watch a lot of his streams. Were these people actually like heavily collaborators with each other? Is there like something that I'm missing here? Like, I don't know. But even then, like, yeah, you could be in an org or whatever. You could do a whole bunch of streams together and not be friends. That's completely fine.
Beer now and then. They live on opposite sides of the country, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I'm pretty sure one of them lives in California, one of them lives in Florida or some shit. Like, they're not best friends. And this idea is purely parasocial, something that's been propagated by Dr. Disrespect to make the other people around him seem worse. If Dr. Disrespect was really a best friend, you know what he would do? He would shut his fucking mouth and accept that he's the reason that this whole fucking problem exists in the first place. If someone says, "Hey, your hair, it smells like shit," and you look in the mirror and you see there's a bunch of shit in your hair, are you gonna look at that friend and be like, "You're such a bad friend, I can't believe I can't believe you'd say that to me"? Or are you gonna take a fucking shower? At the end of the day, I'm looking at these fucking Redditors, and I hope in some ways that they're kids that are having kid thoughts, because the idea that these are fully grown men thinking this way parasocially about their daddy disrespect is fucking crazy. On the other hand, I hope they're not kids, because I know Dr. Disrespect's track record with people that age.
this and also it's like, bro, if you're as a kid see like news of like a content creator who was like messaging someone underage like that, and you yourself are underage, I feel like if that gets you a fan base, I think that shows that you are fertile. I feel like breeding ground is just no double entendres are intended here, but it feels like it's a breeding ground to where like, oh, all these people I think could even accept or encourage Dr. Disrespect to do the same thing to them. I mean, and maybe that's just normal. I don't know. But I feel like that's just like not great as well. It's like, oh, that's problematic. That's an issue.
I think he is more hurt that they didn't discuss anything with him. They distanced themselves and tried to stay out of it. That's fine publicly, but if a good friend of yours was accused of something like this, would you just bail without even a goodbye?
Okay, that's actually fair though. That's actually fair. If you were close or whatever, you would ask some questions or talk to them before cutting them off. That's actually what I did with my previous friend or whatever. But I mean, yeah, we don't know that they were actually friends, so the point is moot.
So surprised they wouldn't even reach out to ask about it. If I was remotely friends with him, I'd reach out and ask for details and see what we could do to help out. Not reaching out at all was a major flag to me and showed me how fake they were. Surprised that Z did that, but Tim was a flat out poser, so no surprise. He's a 36-year-old loser talking and acting like he's 21. So
who's Z, by the way? I don't know who Z is. Isn't that like a group of Nazis in Ukraine or something?
Cringe. It's so crazy to see them talking. If I was remotely friends with him, I'd reach out and ask for details and see what we could do to help out. Dude, he's like, what details do you need? He had fucking inappropriate conversations with a minor.
And he admitted it, right? So it's like, what else do you want?
Can help out with that, you sick freak? Is this how parasocially tied you are? You can't see somebody do something objectively morally wrong and you think, how can I help this guy? How can I help my daddy? Disrespect. Help him out. If you're young enough, you might be next, you sick freak, okay? You might be next. But maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's what all these fucking subredditors want. They just want to be the next Dr. Disrespect victim. As I've been re-engaging with content creation, it's been interesting to see, I mean, some of the craziest stories come out and how people deal with it. I mean, the Destiny stuff has been a trip. Seeing him manipulate his audience and kind of weave a tale that, quite honestly, we all know what happened. We all know what he did. It's not about what we know, it's about what his audience knows. And it seems like Dr. Disrespect has taken a similar approach. And I really hope that videos like this, I don't know if they really mean anything. I just make them because they're fun to make and you guys like to watch them. Hopefully it makes a little bit of money for me, okay? I hope that seeing this type of community engage on a subreddit, talk to each other, see how fucking twisted their perception of reality is. I hope that seeing these engagements kind of paint a picture of how fucking easy it is to fall into a trap of really being parasocially attached to a content creator. I'm not gonna act like I've never been that way. I was in love with PewDiePie. I really liked Leafy when I was 16, 17.
Pause. Okay, now let's proceed.
18, 19, okay? When I was a dumb kid. You can't like someone or a content creator so much that you ignore the bad that they do. You have to process those things. You have to listen to what other content creators are saying, look at the evidence with your own eyes, and come to a conclusion. That tweet that he put out should be a big red X on his forehead every single fucking time you watch his content. And if it isn't, you should get that checked. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
True.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Good video. Weird. Okay, that's a title. That was a pretty interesting video. I had no idea that like the Dr. Disrespect's audience was going to bat for him like that. I actually didn't know that he still had a big audience. I thought that his audience had sort of evaporated slowly over time. Maybe it has. I don't know. But I didn't know that his subreddit was still active. High school mentality, no matter what other doc liked him. I mean, I never was a big fan of Dr. Disrespect. I thought his shtick was kind of funny, but like, it didn't intrigue me enough to watch it, and it seemed kind of fake, so.